Good evening, afternoon or morning. Movie Cat is at the microphone and today I will tell you about a fantasy action movie, Legion.
I don't even believe in God.
Well, that's just fine. Bobby doesn't believe in you either.
Archangel Michael falls to earth in Los Angeles, cuts off his wings, and the collar of the warrior of the Lord falls from him. Then Michael breaks into one of the warehouses and, using a first aid kit, sews up the wounds in the place where the wings were. In the same warehouse, he stocks up with a large number of weapons and then he dresses in a stylish coat. Instead of using the door normally, Michael knocks out the gate in the shape of a burning cross. Two police officers notice such an outrage and intend to stop him, but suddenly one of them becomes possessed and kills the other. The possessed policeman says that Michael in vain violated the God's order, and now he must die with some unknown child. He kills a possessed cop and takes his car. Meanwhile, at a small roadside diner with a garage in the middle of the New Mexico desert, the depressed owner Bob, his son Jeep, and the waitress Charlie work there. Charlie is not pregnant by Jeep, but he loves her and takes care of her. An older woman enters the diner and starts acting weird, telling Charlie that her baby will burn. The old woman begins to insult the rest of the visitors, and when one of them approaches her, she pulls out a piece of his neck with her teeth. Then when the old woman tries to escape through the ceiling, and one of the visitors, a black gangster, kills her with a gun, it was decided to take the wounded man to the nearest hospital, but they had to turn back as a cloud of flies completely obscured the sky. A few minutes later, phones and radios stop working and the diner is cut off from the outside world. The owner and his son Jeep decide to toss the dead old woman out of the diner, and in the process, a police car pulls up and a smartly dressed man gets out. Former Archangel Michael begins handing out weapons to surprised visitors, including even a pregnant girl. He explains that God has lost faith in humanity and has ordered the angels to commit the apocalypse, only instead of the flood as last time. Now the angels turn the weak spirit people into the possessed, and they, in turn, kill everyone else. Michael disobeyed God's order. He fell and came to protect the last and only hope of mankind, Charlie's child, who is destined to become the savior of the world. Because of this, according to Michael, the angels will besiege the diner in order to kill Charlie and her child. The old woman was only a scout just to test the strength of people. Michael comes up with a plan to keep the diner's defense until the baby is born. Why angels cannot kill a newborn child, unlike a pregnant woman, Michael does not explain. Charlie is on her 8th month, but Michael says that the baby will be born prematurely and it will happen very soon. As night falls, a wave of possessed people attack the barricaded diner. Michael and the others restrain them, but a man wounded in the neck is dragged outside and disappears. In the evening, Michael explains to Jeep why God is disappointed in humanity. People trampled on the love of God with their terrible deeds, killing each other out of hatred for a foreign race. Greed, endless wars over fragments of stones and sayings in ancient books. However, he, Michael, did not become disappointed with humanity, precisely because of people like Jeep, who loves someone else's child and helps a woman from whom he expects nothing in return. In a conversation with Jeep, Michael recalls how he was the leader of the Lord's army and why he decided to fall. In the last conversation in heaven, Michael told his brother Gabriel that he wants to give God not what he asks, but what he really needs. In other words, not to fulfill the order to destroy humanity, but to restore God's faith in people. The next day, the wife of the disappeared man hears the voice of her husband. He calls her for help. The woman looks outside and sees that he is crucified upside down. His body is covered with sores and boils. Michael warns that it's a trap, but the woman runs out of the diner just as her husband's body explodes, spilling acid all around. The cook, who rushed after the woman, shields her with himself and dies, because the acid burns his back to the bones. Michael, who did not even take a step to help the woman, says something like, "Well, I warned you about a trap." In the diner, the radio suddenly starts working. It says that humanity has created fortified bases to avoid destruction, one of which is located close to the diner. Michael orders everyone to stick to the plan by staying at the diner, because they'll be kind of more vulnerable on the road. At night, a man with a young son drives up to the diner to refuel and is immediately attacked by the possessed. A black gangster leading a rooftop watch sees a child in the car and jumps off to save him. Inside the diner, people also want to help, but Michael points a gun at one of them and forbids opening the doors so as not to be in danger. The gangster holds up well against the possessed, but is unexpectedly beaten by a rescued child. Suddenly, the girl who was on duty on the roof rushes into battle. When a pregnant woman in a diner threatens to come to the rescue, only then Michael arms himself and helps the girl, blowing up half of the gas station along the way. Meanwhile, the possessed child tries to cut the pregnant woman's stomach, but fails. Later, Michael explains that the possessed cannot harm the child, so God will send someone who can. The Archangel Gabriel. Charlie is having a baby boy. One of the women, having lost the remnants of her mind, grabs the child and is going to give it to the possessed, in exchange to save lives of everyone in the diner. As soon as she approaches the door, Michael shoots at her and Jeep catches the child in a jump. Gabriel appears and kills the owner of the diner by cutting him with his sharp wings. Michael tells Jeep and Charlie to carry out the baby while he holds Gabriel. Also, Michael asks Jeep to learn how to read some scroll. Parents carry the baby through the crowd of the possessed, who can no longer harm anyone who has the very one child in their arms. The possessed people step behind and the parents leave. Michael fights well against the Archangel, but the lack of wings and as a result God's power affects the battle. Gabriel defeats Michael by stabbing him in the heart with a spear. Michael dies as a mortal man, but his spirit ascends to heaven. At the same moment, Jeep sees tattoos on his arm and neck, just like Michael had. Jeep and Charlie assume that this is the scroll. In the rearview mirror, they see Gabriel flying after them. He breaks into the car and tries to reach Charlie, at which point Jeep slams on the brakes. The car crashes and the collision ejects unbelted Gabriel. The Archangel dusts himself off and goes to kill Jeep, when suddenly Michael descends from heaven in front of him, having regained the appearance of an angel. Michael's refusal to leave the humanity, to the point that he was willing to lay down his life for the people, convinced God to change his mind and give humanity a second chance. As Michael said, he gave God not what he wanted, but what he really needed. Michael wounds Gabriel in a short fight, but does not kill him. Michael tells Jeep and Charlie not to lose faith and take care of the child. Then the Archangel ascends into the sky. Jeep and Charlie hit the road. God forgave the people and recalled the Archangels, and the possessed probably returned their former human appearance. However, Jeep and Charlie are still carrying stolen weapons in the trunk for some reason. These people should teach the child how to save this world. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so doesn't disappoint God.